What was it that...
Yeah.
Welcome everyone to a Tinfoil Sunday. How's everyone doing? We got a new costume today, so that's good. That's good stuff. So today we're going to be looking at conspiracy documentaries. As the title says, we're going to be going down the rabbit hole and looking at some of the weird conspiratorial documentaries that are on YouTube. So, should be good. Found this costume yesterday at a wholesale store for $20. We did it! Fuck you, Donnie Darko! So anyway, I'm hot as fuck in this fucking thing. No, seriously though, this is fine. The other costumes are gonna come later today and tomorrow, but we have a lot of costumes. Is it hot? What do you think? No, I have a fan on and I have an air conditioner going. I'll be fine. Baja's also getting me some rabbit ears, so if I need to take off the head, I can still have, like, rabbit ears. You get it. You get it. You get it. This is the best I've ever looked on stream, by the way. Jesus Christ. Should wear more costumes with full helmets. Anyway, so, yeah. Today we're going to be looking at tinfoil. I don't think we're going to do bingo because we're only doing so many, documentaries. It's like analog VTubing. This is exhausting. So anyway, let's take a look at what's going on in chat. Hats off. Trey, what could you possibly want? What could you possibly want from a hats off right now? Genuinely curious. Hello everyone in chat. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor and like the stream. And, yeah, that's about it. Cool beans. You're scared? You need an adult? No adults are allowed, kid! It's just you and me in here, okay? Anyway, so yeah, let's just, get into it, I guess. And, something less smoldering? No! Not right now! I'm not taking off the head 10 minutes into the stream! I gotta at least get an hour in. Look, if I'm gonna die, I'll take it off, okay? I'm just saying. What's his face? The guys from One More. What are the robot? They're French. The French robots. They're fine. The guy with the mouse head that's vaguely infringing on Disney's trademark. He's fine. I'm fine. Bittergrin with a 280 stream streak says, hey, love the bunny suit. Thank you. Witch hat on top. I could try. H-Bird says, my conspiracy theory is that this costume is an AI deepfake and Hannah's on a microphone in the other room. I wish. Yeah, Daft Punk and Deadmau5, respectively. You get it. I'll do the juggle real quick, and then I'll see if I can get a hat on here. I don't know if it'll work. Where are my juggling balls? Where did I put them? Did I mention it's hard to see? Oh, there's one. I found one. Also, this is more akin to puppeteering, it feels like, than it is wearing a costume. I very much have to over-emote to express anything. Anyway, there's one juggling ball. Where did I'm gonna take this off for a sec, just so I can find the other juggling balls. I did put a full face of makeup on under this, because of course I did. Where's my balls? Dude, where's my balls? There's number 2. And there's number 3. Cool beans. P-Meal with a $10 tip says, I see you're catering to the furry demographic. Excellent. If this was a fursuit, it would be the cheapest fursuit in history. Alright, I'm safe. Adventuresin.net, thanks for a 35 stream streak, says, I'm not close, but what's the current high watch streak? I actually don't know off the top of my head. I don't know. Anyway, let's see if this'll work. The gloves are not gonna help in this situation, methinks. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare thumb war. Well, that didn't work at all. I'll try one more time, and then I'm gonna give up. Okay. Here we go. We got this. We got this. The suit is doing half the work comedically, quite honestly. This is easy mode. Okay, we got this. Ready? Okay. Okay, maybe the gloves are the problem. Let's try this. Alright. Nope, can't see shit. It's definitely the mask. Okay. Anyway, I'll try to get in. Get off the stage! You get off the stage! H-Bird says, my conspiracy theory is that the cost... Oh, I read that. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can get the witch hat on here. I doubt it, though. Oh, yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening. Nope. I gave your points back anyway, so it's fine. How am I reading anything? I'm literate. You think rabbits can't read? Fucking speciest. No, seriously though, with great difficulty. The trick is to only look out of one eye. Anyway, so, today we're gonna be looking at conspiracy documentaries, like I said. Should be fine, should be fun. We are doing a patron and YouTube member-only live show after this, so if you want to be a part of that, become a member on YouTube or join the Patreon as a paid member. It's September, so if you want to help support the stream, you can always gift subs. We're also working towards our tip goal to get a soundboard, so if you want to do that, you can use the tip link. All right, with all that out of the way, let's jump into it. This is a documentary, air quotes, about Hollow Earth, and it's split into 7 YouTube videos, like the classic days of YouTube when there was like a 10-minute upload limit, or 15, whatever. Rick M says, genuine question, does the mask help your social anxiety at all, or is it very low anyway because no one is in the room with you? It's already low because no one's here. No one's really here, so... Anyway, let's go!
The secret of the inner Earth.
Oh.
Like the human being, the planet itself also has dimensions. These 7 bodies are 7 main energy gates.
Okay, we've already lost me. Wait, okay, so a dimension generally is referring to, like, spatial dimensions, you know. The X, Y, Z, or Z if you're not American, right? Spatial dimensions. Sometimes the 4th dimension is referred to as time, like in The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. But, like, what does he mean the dimensions are gates? They're gates? What do you mean they're gates? They're dimensions, but they're gates? They're like a gate, but they're also an entire direction you could be I don't get it. We're already 10 seconds in. Let me snooze that ad. Oh, I got a text I gotta check real quick.
Also called chakras or sun gates. They are the activation gates. The masters of Lemuria and Atlantis knew about the main geomantic energy vortices. With the help of extraterrestrial technology and levitation, they built large pyramids onto these centers of energy. Therefore, pyramids around the world stand on these gates of energy.
Well, that's convenient, isn't it? That we can't, like, detect any of these gates of energy, but we definitely know the pyramids are on them, and you can tell, because there's pyramids there. Cool beans.
In order to mark the power centers. They are situated in the jungles of the Amazon, in the highlands of Mexico, on the ocean floors of the Atlantic and the Pacific, under the desert of Taklamakan, in China, and many other places on Earth. Many of these pyramids were built underground and will be discovered in the near future.
That's quite a claim, isn't it? Does he think that because it's called the Bermuda Triangle, there must be a pyramid under it? Because if you take a bunch of triangles and you put them together, you got a pyramid. I guess you need a square, too, for the bottom. But you get what I'm saying. I also apparently need to watch that movie. How old is this? Sounds like from the 90s. This is, Hollow Earth Atlantis and the Origin of Humans. It doesn't tell me what year it's from, unfortunately.
Pyramids are the mirror of human evolution, with the 4 dimensions. God is the 5th dimension, and
I don't think these people know what dimensions are.
exists beyond the pyramid. This is why the last stone of each 4-faced pyramid is missing. Hence, the stone of completion is the unification of man with the Creator.
Wait, are you saying because the capstone's missing because it was golden? For those that don't know, the capstone on the pyramids was like gold. It was valuable. So the reason that the original capstones are missing is because over time they were stolen by, like, grave robbers. Just so you know. It's not like intentionally missing. Someone stole that shit.
The fifth dimension. That is the reason why human beings have 5 fingers.
Kathy on YouTube says, new costume? No, actually, this is very flattering to my figure.
They are created for the 5th dimension.
The reality of massive engineering tools in Egypt, of course, is something that is not presently known.
How can I see out of that thing? Don't worry about it! It would be an incredibly irresponsible use of my psychic powers to use them just to read chat and watch stream. I would never do that.
Existence.
Also, I don't have psychic powers!
Of huge interior structures with mathematical precision that range in size from some 20 centimeters for the air shafts to the massive chambers known as the King's and Queen's Chamber that require blocks of some 2 to 20 tons apiece, suggest a parent technology that is no longer known to our present Western society.
Oh wow, that UFO turned into an eyeball. That's some like peak early 90s or mid 90s CG.
2 to 20 tons apiece, suggest a parent technology that is no longer known to our present Western society. When the documentary Mysteries of the Sphinx was being made, the engineers asked themselves, how could these massive blocks be moved into position? It was obvious from special consultants who were moving upwards of 200 tons that there was no present technology that could take these very large, massive blocks from the quarries and move them up some 480 feet above the surface of the earth.
I am so tired again about this stuff. There have been so many people who actually spend their lives actually trying to understand the techniques used to build the pyramids in Egypt, and every conspiracy dickbag in the world just goes, I don't know, decided I'm not going to think about it or even consider the basic machines that we've had access to since the beginning of human civilization. Guess it must have been aliens.
Unless there was a superior parent technology. In talking with
I want to point out that this is a used costume, but we washed it, so it's fine.
Specialist in hypersonic vibrations in New York and Chicago, it was suggested that a type of vibratory source, perhaps a quarter of a mile in length, would have to be necessary as some airborne platform that would require the vibratory mechanisms necessary to move these large blocks into place. Certainly, our use of certain sound techniques inside the chambers show that the Great Pyramid is a type of vibratory laser. And if it can be activated properly, in my interpretation, could allow us to understand.
Sorry, can I ask who you are? Did we introduce this guy? What is he claiming as his expertise to say that the pyramids are a vibratory laser, whatever the fuck that is?
Understand how certain sound structures can move massive blocks of stone.
The high priests used the pyramids as initiation temples because the energy inside the pyramids was so powerful that students or neophytes, through meditation, were carried into a different dimension of consciousness.
That's how you can tell it's historical.
The student, with his physical body and senses, was moved into a higher world. Thus, he could perceive the spiritual world.
Did they give him drugs? Were they doing drugs in the pyramids? I don't know. In terms of set and setting, I don't know if the pyramids are where I want to hang out. I think I'm going to have a drug trip where I'm in the spooky Scooby-Doo episode and a mummy is chasing me.
Until this very day, another great secret remains. The pyramids were used as natural doors of dimension gates, as openings and doors leading to the inner earth. As much as there is an outer world, there is, because of polarity, an inner world.
Because of polarity? Would you care to elaborate on that statement?
In other words, the earth is hollow. As things are on a small scale, so they are on a large scale.
That's not even true. Things that are on a small scale don't necessarily reflect the reality on a larger scale. For instance, quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and like macro classical physics, Newtonian physics, like, are notoriously incompatible. That's what a theory of everything is, would be a mathematical physics like theory that puts those two things in the same system. So the idea that like the micro and the macro are inevitably mirrors of each other is just objectively untrue. It's vacuous woo-woo bullshit that people say to try and make themselves sound wise or smart when they are neither.
Hermes Trismegistos taught that everything in the universe is set up according to the same organizational plan. One could say that the Earth is like a huge atom, hollow inside, with a...
I mean, you could say that, but you'd be wrong both about the Earth and atoms? Like, I know an atom is mostly empty space. We're talking mostly about, you have the stuff in the center and then you have the electrons. You know what I mean? But that's still an atom. I wouldn't call that hollow. I would just say it's a thing that has a field. And, it's mostly empty space. But I wouldn't call that hollow, because the atoms on the outside are kind of like all around it. It's not like a dome, right? It's orbiting, sort of.
The nucleus at the center, which represents the inner sun. Just as we humans do not see the outer curve of the globe, one is not able to perceive the inner curve when entering Hypereia, the legendary lost crystal cities of Agartha.
Is that not supposed to be Hyperborea?
The initiated were able to get in touch with the civilizations of the inner Earth through gates. Until the sinking of Atlantis, this was general knowledge.
We have no evidence that Atlantis was ever true. In fact, quite the opposite. It was a story that Plato made up as an allegory, but you're talking as though you have factual, historical records about not only Atlantis existing, but how people discussed things surrounding it before and after its disappearance. What a bold lie. That's just a lie. That's just a shitty lie. Are we bingoing? We are not bingoing today.
Plato in his book, the Timaeus, speaks about an earlier civilization.
Okay, Professor Jim Hurtak. Let me look up this guy. What is his degree in? Give me 1 second. Professor Jim Hurtak. Just stop. Let me see. What is he? He went to the University of California, Berkeley. Oh, why is this Wikipedia page in another language? Let me see what his degree is. Oh my god, what a fucking asshole. His degree is in theology. His degree is in theology. He has no relevant experience in the field. What a fucking asshole.
A race of godlike beings, at least 9,000 years before the time of the peoples of Athens. He also speaks of how the great historian Solon refers to Egypt as a colony of Atlantis. It is clear from evidences we have recently made.
Hey, could we get an actual historian instead of liars? That'd be great.
In Mesoamerica, specifically in Guatemala, with the ancient canal system that we have uncovered through remote sensing radar, that it was there in Central America where north and south tectonic plates meet, where there are great statues called the Atlans, that there was indeed some type of civilization that could be called Atlantean. Clearly the evidence is...
I'm sorry, is he now claiming, like, sure, they weren't, like, Atlantean in any of the ways that matter, but, like, maybe their name was similar, so does that count? Am I doing a history? No, shame on you. Shame. Shame.
In Egypt, of great structures beneath the sands of Giza.
On his website, he describes himself as a space law specialist.
As well as the evidences of great structures beneath Gobi in the Far East, suggest that Atlantean...
Okay, I do have to actually take this off for a sec. I'm getting so hot and sweaty. Holy shit. And I would have gotten away with it, too, if it wasn't for you meddling chat. I'll put it on again in a little bit. I just need to cool down.
Models of higher intelligence were over the Earth.
These are not bunny ears, but they're close enough for now until Baja gets back with the other ears.
At a much earlier historic period, suggesting that Atlantis was a type of civilization rather than a specific place of people, technology, worship, and belief.
Fuck off.
Where is the entrance to the inner earth? My
Breaches and Hose says I was gonna post a link to Donnie Darko's scene, but Twitch isn't cooperating. I can't play it anyway.
feeling is that these are
It was Hannah. I know. That's the saddest surprise, isn't it?
openings several 100 kilometers wide, not more than that. One on the North Pole, one on the South Pole. They may exist in a different dimension. They may be made visible at will or from time to time depending on...
Man, I wish I could justify the lack of evidence for things I wanted to believe by just saying maybe they're in another dimension.
certain...
Maybe the goodness inherent in the human spirit was hiding in another dimension all along, and I'm wrong about my cynicism. Probably not, though.
cosmic and terrestrial conditions. These are more of speculations. However, I know for sure that, for example, polar flights are forbidden to fly straight over the pole. They always...
Oh my god, he's doing the flat earth thing. No, they are not forbidden. You can do that. Commercial flights choose not to because it's incredibly dangerous. If you have an engine failure or an emergency, you're so far away from civilization, there's nowhere to land.
Deviate away. After a very suspicious crash of a New Zealand airliner, chartered airliner in late 70s, early 80s, that was supposed to fly over the South Pole looking for the opening of the inner Earth.
After Atlantis, only a few
Video 2.
and the Hopi Indians knew of the entrances to huge underground cities.
Knew of, as in they had cultural myths about these things or religious beliefs. Man, I hate how the word know gets abused in conspiracy circles.
They reported that shortly before the cyclical end of humankind, the seed for the next humankind was brought to...
Oh my god, are they trying to claim that this suit is somehow approximating a space suit?
End of humankind.
Go fuck
The
yourself. Look, I've chosen to use the cultural aesthetics of another group in order to further my conspiratorial bullshit.
Seed for the next humankind was brought to safety in the inner earth by beings. Human beings with white and bluish skin and golden angelic hair who traveled in flying saucers from the
Na'vi?
inner earth. Last
So they think these guys cargo culted a spacesuit? Yeah, basically.
century, various scientists searched for the pole openings. Accordingly, the South Pole is supposed to be the head chakra of the Earth and have an enormous pole opening. The North Pole would be the root chakra.
I'm a little taken aback that you're glossing over the fact, not glazing. That's very different. You're glossing over the fact that the Earth has chakras? A thing that even humans don't have. Also, the root chakra is the crotch. So the North Pole is Earth's penis confirmed.
Chakra. During this century,
isn't this the plot to Godzilla vs. Kong? Yes, in Godzilla vs. Kong, they utilize conspiracy theories to build that plot. Basically, Godzilla vs. Kong's writers took these ideas and wrote them into the movie, but what if they were true? Yes.
2 great efforts were made to find these pole openings and to make contact with the extraterrestrial races who built the underground cities within the Earth.
Is that a shot from Earth versus the Flying Saucers? No. Looks like an Ed Wood movie. Earth versus the Flying Saucers is the one that Harryhausen worked on, right? Where they actually looked good.
The first expedition was led by Admiral Byrd before the Second World War. The second was carried out by the secret Tula organization, which pulled the strings behind the Nazis.
I'm sorry, wait, what? Huh?
Before the Second World War. The second was carried out by the secret Tula organization, which pulled the strings behind the Nazis.
What? We're just gonna slip that in? Could we not?
Both expeditions were successful. Byrd discovered the pole openings during an expedition for the USA.
It's funny that both the Flat Earthers and the Hollow Earthers both claim that Admiral Byrd secretly discovered the conspiracy they believe in, but both can't be true, right? Either he found a hole to the Hollow Earth or there's a Flat Earth, or neither is true. But they both believe he found their conspiracy proof and hid it until his death. That's funny. H-Baird with a link. Pull the string! Pull the string!
Pull the string! Pull the string! A mistake is made. A story must be told.
That's from Glenn or Glenda, right? Yep. I love Glenn or Glenda. I wish I had it on Blu-ray. Where were we?
What do we know about Operation High Jump, about Admiral Byrd's expedition in the autumn of 46, the early spring of 47, to the South Pole? This is an expedition that has been almost forgotten, and it's very hard to come up with any information about it.
It's funny that he says it's almost forgotten, as if people know about any other expeditions similar. Like, the general public does not really keep this stuff in their mind. So to say it's forgotten implies people were ever particularly familiar with it, which they weren't. Lennon Cat says, I'm the only one who's correct, and he discovered the Taurus Earth. Donut.
The few articles that were published at that time in, let's say, National Geographic magazine would not give any clue to the real intention of that expedition. However, recently we discovered a unique documentary film in color, 1 hour long, made by the US Navy. It was a massive naval operation that involved an aircraft carrier, several battleships, an armed submarine, and probably another 20 supply and battleships. It involved 4,000 troops, US troops, and the rumor is that there were also British and Russian contingents within these 4,000 troops. It was a massive naval operation. It was not, as it has been presented to the public, that it was a peaceful expedition to explore the natural resources of the South Pole.
Does he think that because the Navy did it and they had military personnel that it makes it non-peaceful? Like, it has to be peaceful. There's no one there. It's Antarctica. There was no one there. But yes, they were using, like, naval resources and ships. But it seems like he thinks that because the Navy was involved, it can't be peaceful. What does that mean? There was no one there to kill. What are you talking about? Amber says, if he's referring to the Thule Society, that was a Volkish organization that was influential on the early Nazis. Think of it as a gentleman's club for people who believe in all the pseudo-medievalist occult shit Himmler was into. Think of it as the Nazi equivalent to the KKK or something. Sure, makes sense.
They descended to Little America, which is the place of the previous Admiral Byrd landings on the South Pole. And then they started a massive overflight over the whole area of the South Pole, trying to locate the German base that was established there almost 10 years earlier. The Germans started somewhere in 1936-37, seriously exploring the South Pole. And by the time the war ended, the rumor is that they have established a massive underground colony with at least 100,000 scientists, researchers, elite SS troops, children from Hitlerjugend, young boys and girls that were to become the seed of this new and...
Okay, wait, are they claiming that the Nazis went to Antarctica like that other weird Nazi guy we cover now? That's funny. Hydrate.
Colony that was to be built under the...
Hey, fun fact, Antarctica's the worst place you could build a colony, you know, because of the utter lack of vegetation or, like, animals to hunt. You're pretty fucked. Let me drink this water. I got this. We got this. Ugh. We did it!
The principles of the super race selection.
In our research in Africa, the Far East,
Jaceproxy says, so was Admiral Byrd someone who actually explored the South Pole and did real exploration, and his name was co-opted by crazies, or was he crazy? He was actually an explorer that really went there and really did, like, the early observations of the place. He has been co-opted, unfortunately, by conspiracy theorists. They're always claiming, oh, here's his secret journal or his secret deathbed confessions that say I was secretly right this whole time. It's really gross the way they use him.
and in the mountains of South America, we have come across statuary.
Is this a coming out stream? I'll have you know, I'm not a furry, but if I was, I'd have a better fursuit than this. And no, we're not doing bingo today. Altered Undying, and I wouldn't be a bunny! I wouldn't be a bunny! Altered Undying says, the Nazis in Antarctica Hollow Earth thing was so big that it's a plot point in the Persona 2 game.
Of very grotesque beings who, according to the Indian and shamanistic tradition, went into the earth at a time of a great cataclysm. If we take Atlantis as a model for survival, it is clear in the folklore and literature of the major continents of our planet that some of the races...
What would my fursuit be? Don't worry about it. I've not thought about it, but it wouldn't be a bunny.
...went into the earth. I brought with me from Africa pictures of these grotesque serpent-like beings. Many of them correspond to the extraterrestrial reports and photographs of some of these so-called snake people or serpent people. It is very clear also that there was the survival of the ancestry of the Adamic race, referred to in our scriptures, as well as in the teachings of the Hungarian and German people that came out of the Gobi area. It is in this area of Lap Nor that we have recently found evidences of an earlier European type humanity that did survive some type.
Oh, wow. This is like all very Nazi adjacent, isn't it? Holy fuck.
Of cataclysm, according to the myths of the Far East. We have thus in our tradition a vast folklore anthropology, and cosmology that connect the peoples of this planet with that of other worlds.
The Nazis were better informed by the secret esoteric orders and had exact knowledge about the lost cities of...
Oh yeah, this feels like so close to Nazi apologia. I really dislike it. Jesus Christ, it's so close to just being like, they were right all along! And it's like, no, 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 no. The Nazis, like all fascists, huffed their own farts and believed their own lies to the point that they were incredibly ineffective. Like, fascism is inevitably going to collapse in on itself, even when it takes hold, because the system is untenable. It requires constant out-parties to become enemies. There's usually infighting amongst the people at the top of the hierarchy because they're personality types that tend to be incredibly vindictive and psychotic and go after each other. It's a nightmare. Like, fascism is a cancer that eats everything and then itself, and it just kills the body, right? The body being society in this case. Man, I feel like I'm not in an outfit to be discussing a serious topic like this.
Agartha and Shambhala. Many of their expeditions involved searching for the entrances into the inner world and the lost techniques of the gods. That is, UFOs, the Ark of the Covenant, and much more. Thus, films like Indiana Jones are not mere fiction.
Okay, but here's the thing. Yes, they are. You could argue it's historical fiction because it's like a period piece. It takes place during World War II. But it is fiction. Okay? Okay. Cool beans.
German expedition in search of Agartha. Some esoteric correlations of the 19th century and of the Third Reich are hidden nowadays under a veil of the past. Thus, only some isolated relationships can be uncovered. For a while, Dietrich Eckart lived at the foot of the mountain Untersberg and was initiated into the medieval mysteries and into the legends of caves.
Am I allowed to say I'm glad the Nazis are dead? Like the original Nazis? Is that allowed? Am I allowed to be like, I'm glad Himmler's dead? Is that allowed? Just checking.
Adolf Hitler spent many hours with Dietrich Eckart at the Obersalzberg mountain, and both were followers of the hollow earth theory of Hans Erbinger. The Untersberg was already considered by the Templars to be a volcano with an access to the inner earth and to the legendary hollow world. Thus, there are stories of the disappearances of people in the Untersberg and how, 60 years later, the same people surfaced without having aged. Other German legends deal with the myth of the end of the world. In the legends, King Barbarossa is asleep in the mountain, and after hundreds of years he rises up with his knights for the last battle at the end of time, in order to help good triumph.
I'm speaking now as...
To be clear, is that the good in this context is supposed to be, at least I guess the Nazis thought it was them. Yikerinos.
a scientist, I do not want...
You're not a scientist, you're a theologian. Go fuck yourself, Jim Hurtak, you goddamn hack.
...to confuse subsurface temples and grottos and structures of civilizations that go down approximately a mile or two from the surface of the Earth with the so-called inner Earth theory. In my work in Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia, it is clear that there are vast tunnel systems that go hundreds of kilometers under the mountains, allowing the Indian peoples to connect between national borders. We know also between Mexico and New Mexico in North America that the Indians have a subterranean system of corridors that allow the tribal federations from North America to meet, even privately, without notifying the American or Mexican authorities. Clearly, these structures are there as a result of some type of volcanic activity. or catastrophic events some 28 million years ago, as we have measured in areas of North Mexico, where the surface of the earth changed, allowing volcanic openings and porous materials to construct, as it were, underground cavities. Into these cavities, members of the human society found shelter from the noxious poisons and gases and orders of destruction that took place rather suddenly. If we look at our planetary system, there is an obvious grid of underground cavities.
Hold on. I'm sorry. When he looks at a globe... Hold on. When he looks at a globe and sees the longitude and latitude lines that, you know, human beings have drawn on there for help in organizing, you know, coordinate systems, he believes that these are, like, literally tunnels that exist in the earth. Does he think that the legend is, like, over here and it's a big island with words on it, too? Does he think if you fly over the globe, you can see all the words written on there? And you got, oh, you're boating around, watch out for the compass. Oh, don't run into the compass. You love that I have a globe within arm's reach? I have two! I know what my job is. I need visuals. That's also why I have this as my mouse pad, so I can use it to talk about Flat Earth when I need to. Not even a joke.
From the areas of the Gobi...
No bunny tail. There actually is a tail. It's in the other room. I gotta pin it back on, because it was on backwards. It was on the wrong side. The tail was where the crotch is, instead of the butt. So I gotta get it back on there at some point.
Areas of Central Asia, to the areas of Malta in the Mediterranean, to areas even of the mountains of Untersberg in Central Europe, Mont Blanc, Jungfrau, to areas we have specifically worked with seismology in central North Mexico, and also...
To be clear, not seismologists. You, an unqualified person, did work with seismology, which you're not qualified to do, and made conclusions.
Areas of the Andes, Peru, Ecuador, and Bolivia in particular have underground structures that run for hundreds of kilometers. In Southeast Asia, we know that these structures also exist in the areas of Sumatra, Borneo.
So, caves? Like, yeah, Smugpug says they think because they found evidence of caverns under the ground that they're secret tunnels? Secret tunnel through the mountains, secret tunnel. H-Barrett says, I guess that this documentary is just a cover story so this guy could explain why he has so many Nazi books.
In Indonesia, clearly throughout the world, there are major areas.
Sorry, there's like pins or something at the top of this that are stabbing me in the skull. Oh yeah, that's how this is like held together. There's like pins. Oh. That's dangerous. I'm gonna get tetanus.
Which seem to be contact points with parallel evolution.
Dietrich Eckart shaped Hitler's thinking more than we can imagine today. He also directed him towards a mediumistic education and showed him how to make contact with the spiritual world.
Oh, fuck off. I'm so tired of these people trying to make Hitler seem spooky via, like, the paranormal. Hey, dipshit, you don't need the paranormal to make Hitler seem awful. He was awful. He was a fascist. He was the fascist. Sorry, Benito. History doesn't remember you quite as much as Hitler. Anyway, Hitler, bad guy, as a person, as a human being. You don't need to bring spirits and magic and the occult. He was an evil person who orchestrated the deaths of millions of people, political enemies, ethnic groups, people who were differently abled, queer people. That's evil! You don't need him to talk to ghosts! In fact, if Hitler did talk to ghosts, that would be the least offensive thing about the man! Anyway, so that's my Hitler take.
In particular with the Germanic gods and the ancient Hyperea people from...
Incorrect, Baja. You were also wearing it backwards. The zipper goes on the front. There's a collar. And it does not feel right the other way. So I'm sorry, you were also wearing it backwards.
Agatha. Thus, the leader became a guided one who communicated with the spiritual world and the masters of Agatha. Only when he had developed these mediumistic attributes to the full did Dietrich Eckart propagate the idea of a leader, Führer, in the Tula Society and in the popular esoteric circles. Already in the First World War, the German military sent various expeditions, which later were known as German colonies. Some esoteric followers, like General Ludendorff, who had access to the foundations and connections to the secret orders and castles, supported the expeditions and their search for the lost cities and treasures of the old Atlantean high cultures. In the early 20s,
the Atlantean high cultures. Even when they're talking about fantasy fake civilizations, they come off as white nationalists. What the fuck?
in a privately financed...
Okay, question. Is it weirder if I'm laughing and I go, ha 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 ha, or is it weirder if I go, ha 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 ha? Is it better to give some motion to it, or is it creepier? I don't know which direction to go. Is it creepier if I'm not emoting, or if I make it look like I'm emoting through the suit like a puppet? I can't tell. I can't tell. Motion's better? Okay, I'll try to keep the motion then.
Expedition, Edmund Kiss explored various regions of South America and discovered a wide-ranging system of caves with an opening to the inner earth. The different esoteric societies with their secret orders...
Stone Corbell, thank you so much for 63 months, says Rabbit. Indeed, Rabbit.
Country estates, and later also their castles, were the meeting points of the esoteric elite, which saw itself as guided to resurrect the old knowledge of Atlantis and of the Indo-Germanic prophecies. The society that dealt with the lost technology of the gods and their impelling force was the so-called Friel Society. This society collected all the information dealing with the technology of polarity and levitation. When the National Socialists came to power and the old leagues and alliances had accomplished their duty, the esoteric followers of the time began to carry out their expeditions at the...
Not according to the listing for it. Okay, look at this. There's literally a collar on it. There's a collar, and it does not fit the other way. The other way is backwards. It doesn't bend right. I imagine backwards it worked on you because you're a lot smaller than me, but this is closer to my size, and it doesn't... It's like when you put a shoe on the wrong foot. You can immediately tell this is not cut and sewn for this. Like, I'm just telling you. This is absolutely how it's supposed to be worn. There's a collar, and it only fits this way. Ugh.
The state's cost.
And the tail came attached to that side. Yes, the previous owner had it on backwards. I'm not gonna... This isn't a discussion. I'm wearing it right now. And I wore it the other way, and it didn't work. This is what it is.
Various secret working circles financed by the Third Reich were established. The committee of the group, Heirs of the Ancestors, was concerned with the study of races, and some high esoteric followers were contracted to investigate the past of the Aryan race with ordinary archaeologists and scientists. Many Third Reich expeditions were initiated through the orders and foundations. Edmund Kiss went for the second time to South America with an elite group of scientists and the latest technology in order to find and enter into the inner earth and Agartha.
Oh my god, I hate these
Allegedly,
guys.
they found a spaceship from Atlantis in one
Allegedly? Who's alleging it other than you? Allegedly according to whom? What are you talking about? Allegedly, they found a spaceship. Who says that? What are your sources? What are you talking about?
of the bigger caves. The secret society Akakor was founded, whose role it was to further explore the technology, even in the event of a war. In the 80s, was ARD television correspondent Karl Brugger killed because he had published a book which alleged an active role of this same society up to the present day?
I have the privilege of knowing Karl Brugger, the author of Die Koning van Akakor, many years ago in Brazil, where we worked together with the white Indian peoples.
Okay, I'm a little concerned that this guy is working with German-sounding South Americans on work that is quite close to Nazi apologia. Am I the only one seeing the red flags here? This guy is working with a guy from South America with a German name on conspiracy shit that's basically just apologia for the Nazis. Am I the only one who sees what the fuck is happening here? I'm the only sane person on this entire planet! Ah! Everything's funnier when you're wearing a mascot suit, by the way. I highly recommend it.
Of the Upper Amazon, who spoke a dialogue very much like an ancient Germanic language and who had contact with the Star People. Tragically, Karl Brugger was killed by someone in the Brazilian establishment who felt he had too much information on the Indian civilizations and perhaps knew too much about the genocide against the Indian peoples taking place. I dedicated my book, The Sphinx on Mars, to Karl Brugger, and in this book I show for the first time the historic pictures that NASA has of the pyramid structures on Mars, as well as
oh, the face thing. Yeah, this is bullshit.
Pictures of the pyramids in Brazil and South American places.
Oh, the Nazis went to space? No, the aliens built pyramids, and then they went to Earth and built more pyramids. I like to think that aliens are just OCD, and their compulsion is to get lower civilizations to build pyramids. Like, they're anxious. They're like, we gotta get to a planet. We gotta get to a planet. We gotta get them to build pyramids. We need to build pyramids. And then they build them, and they're like, whoo, okay, get to live another day. And then they start getting the itch. They're like, we gotta find another planet. We gotta get them to build pyramids.
Suggesting that there was a historic connection between the planetary grid of energy places marked by pyramids and temples and those...
What I find so funny is even if we did find proof of like a civilization on another planet and there were aliens and they had pyramids, it wouldn't mean there was any connection between them and the pyramids on Earth. It's just a good way to stack things in physical reality. It's physics. Like, they probably also would have, like, arch bridges and, like, dome structures because, like, the principles of architecture don't change based on the planet, assuming the gravity and conditions are relatively similar. Funny.
Of other planetary bodies. Karl Brugger was one of the great historians, journalists, and humanists of the 20th century. It is very important for each of us to try to get in contact with his teaching, his legacy, because it forms the...
That's a shitty pyramid.
The connecting...
That's a C- pyramid at best.
link between the Indian peoples, the earlier Atlantean-type peoples, or what is called in Central America the Atlans, the great giants who are blind.
Amber says these people don't know a bunch of pseudo-historical shit was popular, not just in Germany, but throughout the West all through the 20s. The Nazis didn't have special knowledge. The world was going through a period of superstition and anti-intellectualism. Can't relate. The powerful drank the Kool-Aid partially because it was a way to justify nascent nationalism by inventing a world in which new nations, rather than being cobbled together from dying monarchies, were heirs to a great civilization. Remember that time George Lucas was like, it's like poetry, it rhymes. Are we just gonna do this every century now? What the fuck?
And the European peoples to show a connecting bridge between civilizations and centuries. The Chronic also refers to the coming of the extraterrestrial peoples, according to the Indians, at the beginning of the 21st century, due to the misuse of science, the destruction of the planetary environment, the imbalance of knowledge.
You gotta get a hit in at science somewhere.
What we call Western civilization, the Untergang des Auslands, will come to a quick change with the appearance of the star people. And for this reason, we must keep our eyes and
The star people are a lot like the sea people.
ears open.
But you know, they got spaceships.
To the signs from space of a new communication system, connected also with the teachings of the Indian peoples.
The South American Indians of the Andes recognize UFOs as brothers from the sky who have always been there, who are there today. They are not any more unique than an airliner flying overhead with passengers aboard. To them, the brothers from the sky have always been there. They do make contact with the Indians, and they do treat people in remote areas where they cannot.
The sea people caused the Bronze Age collapse. Good for them. One sec. We did it.
Not get to doctors. They heal them. They treat them medically. They interact with the Indians and with primitive people, both in the high plains and the...
One sec, chat.
in the deep jungles. So when we
I am still gonna wear the face from time to time. It's just when I need to cool off, I'm gonna wear these.
began asking about these brothers from the sky, we discovered stories.
Can you use points to redeem bunny ears on other days? Of course.
About these such contacts everywhere. And in the course
Also, thank you, Spirit Halloween, for being open. I need to give him a visit.
of one of these
Get some more accessories.
stories, we were introduced to an Indian from
If you want me to buy more stuff from Spirit Halloween for stream, make sure you get us closer to the tip goal for the soundboard. Woo!
upper Amazon. I think his name was Akunta, but I am not sure at the present time, who offered to
Akunta Akinte?
take us back into a civilization that he came from that was primarily based on a European culture that was transported there or transposed there sometime about the end of World War II, and they had taken scientists and scientific research underground in an area in the upper Amazon where they had succeeded in developing disc-shaped aerial vehicles that they could use to go all over the world with.
Why do all of these people have such a boner for pretending that the Nazis were geniuses? They weren't. They sucked. Their science sucked because they ignored science that was developed by people they didn't like Albert Einstein, who was Jewish. They didn't like Jewish people. They called his work, quote, Jewish science. Again, fascism is completely unworkable because it denies reality. It's basically conspiratorial thinking, the ideology. It doesn't work. Reptilian Dueler with 20 months says, whoop, 20 months. Imagine that. Been enjoying your content, Hannah, a lot longer than that. Stay well and stay funny. I'll do my best. Thank you very much for the subscription.
The society was, this Indian called the society Akakor. He said that he had guided a German researcher by the name of Brugger, and I think his name was Martin Brugger, B-R-U-G-G-E-R.
I know that it's documentary and that, like, it's not a big deal in this context typically, but just trying to be careful about the nudity.
Who was actually taken to the city and was afforded an opportunity to meet with some of the Europeans there. That Indian tribe in that area has many blue-eyed, blonde-haired Indians, and they appear to be descendants of a Germanic...
Again, we have this gross Aryan shit. Stop it. Stop with the Aryan stuff. You're sick. You're sick in the head. You should be in a padded room.
A group of people that were taken there sometime in the middle 1940s, and now they have produced children and they are young adults, and a society is flourishing there that is...
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say the most unrealistic thing is you claiming that a Nazi society would be flourishing. You could literally have an entire group of Nazis who fit the stereotypical Nazi view of what they believe an Aryan is, and if you locked them alone in a civilization like a vault experiment from Fallout for 50 years, you'd open that thing up and they would have all killed each other. They would have been fighting about whose eyes were the bluest, whose hair was the blondest. It would not have been good. These people could not get along with each other. They had mental health problems. And to be clear, I'm not excusing them. I'm just saying people who tend to be fascists don't tend to be very stable individuals, you know?
Advanced over the contemporary societies around them by a substantial degree. We can take you back there. There is a man who lives in that area. His name is A.J. Gaviard, who will be willing to introduce us to either the Indian that guided Martin Brugger or other Indians from the same tribe who may be willing to take us back far enough to meet some of the members of that society. It's operated as a closed society. They do not come out down the river and enter Western civilizations. When they come out in their spacecraft and pick up what they need and take it back into the society, and they live in a closed environment, pretty much protected by the wilderness of the jungle itself. So it's possible.
You can't be a rational person and a fascist. Those are incompatible. I'm going to say this. If I was writing a Fallout game and I was doing a vault and I was assigned one that it was all fascists that got locked up, the story would effectively be they started out with the typical Aryan shit. Everyone's already blonde-haired, blue-eyed, whatever. Then they start infighting about who's the blondest and the blue-eyedest and start maybe offing people or doing eugenics with each other. Then once that's kind of passé, they start picking up very random, seemingly random, weird things to get obsessed about. Like, actually, Aryans have a pinky that's longer than this finger, or something. It would be completely arbitrary bullshit, because it always is. Blonde hair, blue eye is just as arbitrary as anything else. And you would get to the point where they'd start killing each other over, like, really bizarre stuff, you know what I mean? Not that Nazis didn't already do that, but, you know. You ramp it up so the normies get it. You really gotta turn up the volume for some people to hear the message, you know what I mean?
Possible to go back and further investigate the evidence of the existence of Akakor at any time. We can produce people who can do this. We can look at Mr. Brugger's evidence that he published, which was the result of his own research. But I personally am convinced that this society exists, that they have circular disc-shaped craft, that they fly and operate them there, and perhaps some of the disc-shaped craft that we are discovering in the reports of the Indian Aboriginals
Stars on their bellies. Yeah, this person Seuss's.
Of the highlands, the upper plateau there, may be some of the vehicles from Akakor. We also know that many of the vehicles that they describe are not from Akakor, that they come from elsewhere. Some of them are extraplanetary. They come from beyond this planet, and they have unique technologies, and they
have actually not talked about the bell yet.
Have human beings aboard who are quite different and quite advanced over the contemporary humanity of Earth today. These humans are interacting with the natives down there also, and there is substantial evidence that these extraterrestrial races are directly connected with the earlier civilizations of Tiwanaku, of the Olmecs, of a number of the other...
It's kind of a cool character design. I like that. It's sad that he thinks this is, like, magic, though, or he thinks it's some weird esoteric thing. It's just a cool-ass mask.
Of Tiwanaku, of the Olmecs, of a number of the other earlier civilizations in South America at a time before the last cataclysmic disturbances that changed all the society and reduced it to savagery once more.
A further expedition was sent to the South Pole, Expedition Schwabenland, in order to find the land with no ice and to explore the access to the inner Earth. Another expedition was sent to the Icelandic geysers, since there were insider stories about the access to the inner Earth. And another expedition was organized by Sven Hedin to the Taklamakan Desert in Tibet in order to find traces of the old culture of Urd.
What we call in the Buddhistic esoteric tradition as Shambhala is an actual area in the Taklamakan area of central China next to the Gobi Desert. In 1988, with permission of the Chinese Academy of Science, I conducted research experiments in this area. And
you don't have... Why did they let you? You don't have any qualifications.
Confirm with other engineers the existence of a vast underground complex of grottos.
Hannah could be taking a nap and you'd never know. I snore, you'd know.
Ancient structures and buildings. And in these structures we find statues of the avatars or beings later celebrated in Buddhism as the bodhisattvas, the beings that came from space, in the Vimana and the Tathagata. These are ancient Sanskrit terms for the vehicles of higher intelligence. In my opinion, Shambhala does exist as an underground, structured civilization that is now being uncovered in Central Asia. And in this area of the Gobi, I believe we will find the origins of the Garden of Paradise. Or
no!
The Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, as it is referred to in our book of Genesis.
Oh, he's trying to do syncretism. It's like he's trying to take every, like, theology and combine it into one ultimate, like, historical record. Oh, Jesus. Lennon Cat says, that thing before about the increasingly narrow exclusions made me think of the quote from Dead Like Me about groups. Hey, you have 10 fingers. I have 10 fingers. Let's be friends. We'll make rules and slogans. If we find someone with 9 fingers, we can beat the crap out of them. By the way, Dead Like Me is a really good show. I'd recommend it.
One less-known expedition was led to a...
The Reunion movie was bad.
...mountain in an African desert, since there were stories by the local tribes that there existed a network of caves out of which flying objects emerged, which had also been sighted by the German expeditioners. Under the cover name Wielandschmied, all the information about the technology of the inhabitants of the inner Earth or extraterrestrials was gathered, and through the SSE-4 was passed on to the engineers of the weapon industry.
Where the music was in Fantasia. It could have. The music from Fantasia is by and large classical music that they just did the animation for, so it's possible. Fantasia's good, by the way. Fantasia's a good movie. Fantasia 2000, not quite as much, but, you know. Fantasia 2000's worst bit is the Donald Duck Noah's Ark pomp and circumstance segment. That's terrible.
In order to develop the new technology.
Yeah, let's get the Latin choir. Let's bring up the choir. Let's go. Is this evidence?
The flying saucers from Agatha were the result of this scientific research. The Nazis made contact with the extraterrestrials of the underground city of Antarctica. They received technical support and instruction for building flying saucers with levitation drives, similar to
that one looks like a nipple.
Those used on Venus.
Wait, how do we know it was what they're using on Venus? They're claiming so much information, they have no way of knowing.
At the end of the Second World War, the extraterrestrials ensured that the technology was returned from Earth back to these cities.
Oh my god! Sorry, I'm gonna build up my stamina for that mask, I promise. Are they trying to claim that Nazis developed the V-2 rocket not to bomb their enemies, but just return stuff to the Venusians? Wow. Weird that the rockets kept landing, you know, where people lived instead. Oh my god. Green guy with a $3 tip says, Hannah, I got my colonoscopy tomorrow. I don't like the costume covering your face because facial expressions are nice, but I could care less. How dare you?
They understood that the Dark Age had not yet reached its peak. The technology was returned by 30 submarines through a large commando action.
Okay, let's pick up the scenario. We were originally talking about the spiriting out of the two spacecraft out of Berlin before the Allies arrived. We said that they were put aboard two submarines. They spent 6 months at sea, and they finally landed in Argentina.
How would a spaceship fit inside a submarine? Do you know the size of World War II submarines?
Now, from that point, they were taken into Antarctica, into a section of...
Like, they weren't that big. They weren't wide enough to put a whole-ass spaceship in there. What are you talking about? Especially because you're saying it's like a flying saucer. What are you talking about?
Antarctica called Queen's Maud's Land. And there they disappeared, and they were not heard of for some time. Now, intelligence sources, and of course I was in the intelligence business at that time with the agency, reports indicated that they were in there and they were operative once again. Now, there was a major concern by world powers.
I get the feeling when he says he was in the intelligence business at the time, he means like he was the janitor at the CIA or something. That's so vague and non-specific about his actual role. I assume he was just in the army, as many people were during World War II, and he had a very low role in some sort of intelligence organization, and he's just acting as though that gives him some sort of reason to have special knowledge.
To go in and capture the technology and the two spacecraft which they knew were in Antarctica. And the intelligence reports indicated that one known as Admiral Byrd...
I do want to point out, Baja sent me a picture. Apparently at Spirit Halloween, they had a yassified bunny head. So sorry. Oh no! This isn't gonna give me gender dysphoria now, is it? Oh, fuck! Brains are the worst thing ever invented. Ugh!
Was to be recommissioned, and he was to be
That's a joke for the record.
sent in there to
I'm not that crazy.
retrieve
At least not today.
the two saucers and also the technology and personnel associated with it. Later reports indicated that Admiral Byrd was given 8 months and unlimited funding to go in and pull this thing successfully off. But we also know that within 8 weeks he was totally defeated. Now, the supposition at that point was that there was an advanced civilization and technology, most probably alien. There were with the
Most probably alien.
Third Reich and the SS who was in Antarctica, and that those great and developed technologies were used to defeat Admiral Byrd. And of course, as it turns out, even to date, they're still there. We never did successfully get them.
Yeah, that's never been a thing. The Nazis got defeated. Sorry. At least, you know, the 40s ones that were in charge of Germany.
Stories that I have uncovered about the inner Earth is that very early on in the history of the Third Reich, the Nazi elite, and especially Hitler, were trying to establish contact with a civilization living in the inner Earth, which was considered an Aryan civilization of a lot more advanced nature than their brothers, lost brothers living on the surface of the planet. The Thule Society carries the name of the former capital of that civilization, someplace around present-day Greenland, before the previous polar shifts and before Greenland became under ice. 2 expeditions were made in the late 30s, early 40s, one attempting to enter the North Polar water opening with a submarine, which proved unsuccessful. A second attempt was made to enter the land opening on the South Pole with an anti-gravity cigar-shaped device, basically a small prototype probably of the giant Andromeda space station that was developed later on by the...
Oh, they think there's a Nazi space station. That's nice.
SS, and it proved successful. The most interesting story is the one that...
I missed who this crackpot is. Did anyone notice what his claimed, credentials are?
I heard by an American living in Florida who claims to have spent 2 months in the city of New Berlin.
I'm sorry, your evidence is a guy from Florida told you something? That's never gonna fly as evidence. I'm pretty sure in a court of law, you're not even allowed to admit Florida man testimony. It's like lie detectors. It's just not reliable.
A city that was developed into the inner Earth, and a part of the Germans from the South Polar colony were admitted by the inner Earthlings and were allowed to build that city there. Very strict admission procedures, no previous SS member.
Whoa! The Nazis had intensive entrance procedures for their underground city. I can't believe it. Those guys are normally so open to all sorts of people. The Nazis said build a wall.
Members, no previous concentration camp guards and so on were admitted.
Oh, okay. No, don't worry, guys. They're not Nazi apologists. They filtered out the... I feel disgusting even saying this facetiously. This is facetious, what I'm about to say. Don't worry, guys. They filtered out the bad Nazis. The equivocation. The fact that they're trying to, like... No, not the bad Nazis that, you know, did the genocide. All the Nazis did the genocide. All the Nazis did the genocide. I don't care if you're the one that marched people into the gas chambers, or you were some guy in bumfuck nowhere Germany or Poland guarding a government building that meant nothing. If you were a Nazi, you murdered those people. All of them were culpable. There were no good Nazis.
The rumor is that the present-day city of New Berlin is about 2 million people of population, that they have built there most of the buildings that Hitler's...
Schindler gets a pass. Schindler I wouldn't even call a Nazi in the sense that he was actively working against their goals. That makes him not a Nazi. That would make him someone actively subverting their goals.
Well, personal architect, Spee, was planning to build. They're traveling on Icelandic passports. They are basically the new master race that is probably planned by the Illuminati to repopulate the planet.
The Illuminati!
And there is even a rumor that there is a New Berlin embassy in Washington.
There's a rumor, as opposed to everything else he said, which is clearly based in cold, hard facts. Obviously. Jesus Christ. Hydrate will do.
An unmarked floor of a high-rise building. You probably punch a code on the elevator buttons, and when the elevator stops on that floor and the doors open, you see the sign of New Berlin in the lobby. The kids of the New Berliners study in major institutions around the globe, Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, Yale, and basically it is not a Nazi colony that is established in the hollow earth as an enemy of the present-day American and English Illuminati secret government. On the contrary, it is just basically the other side of the same...
Nino, thanks for subscribing on YouTube.
Some would even coin the new word, the Illuminati presence on the planet, that basically the World War II Nazis and the present-day Illuminatis in America are nothing more than the two sides of the same Illuminati coin. So basically, this is a colony, a presence in the hollow earth that has been established with a shoulder-to-shoulder presence in the hollow earth.
Sorry, for a second I was just like, that looks a lot like the Van Halen logo.
That has been established with a shoulder-to-shoulder cooperation of the Russians and Americans, organized, orchestrated, and performed through the quiet cooperation of the Illuminati government.
After World War II, a military expedition under Admiral Byrd tried to recover the vanished technology.
No, it didn't. None of that's true. He was searching the Arctic and Antarctic to learn more about them.
The extraterrestrials let him enter the inner Earth to the Golden City. They delivered a request message for disarmament to the government of the United States. Admiral Byrd had to remain silent until his death, but after he died, his nephew published his diary.
There it is! We did it! Don't worry, guys. He never said anything about this while he was alive. But posthumously, someone who wasn't him published a diary with no verification. We did it! We did an evidence!
In my work with South African, Brazilian, and American geologists at the South Pole, it is clear that under the structures of ice, there are many layers of civilization, suggesting at one earlier point of time when the conditions of the South Pole were different. Clearly, there was some type of civilization there. The evidences of...
What do you mean clearly?
...huge dinosaur intelligence suggest that this was dinosaur intelligence.
What?
The evidences of huge dinosaur intelligence.
Dinosaur intelligence.
Suggest that this was one of the possible places for the Garden of Eden. This, of course...
The Garden of Eden is not a physical place. It is a mythological location from a religious story. It's not a real place. It's basically a metaphor. It's not the thing you're claiming it is.
Is assuming that the shell of the Earth had a different north and south magnetic pole. And with the shifting of the pole, this region became suddenly very, very frigid. and thus we do not see any evidences on the surface of these so-called earlier conditions of intelligence. However, I believe with the further exploration of the documents that both Admiral Byrd brought to the attention of the world after World War II, and the Brazilian Navy uncovered in 1961 with its subpole expedition, that extraterrestrial intelligence is also operated out of the area of the South Pole. In that sense, the South Pole is a connecting point with other civilizations, possible extrasolar gardens of paradise.
Admiral Byrd.
Is this the last part? Oh, there's two parts left of this documentary.
Found on the South Pole.
UFO researcher Vladimir Tarzinski. Let me look up this guy and see what his deal is, because I'm getting vibes. I'm getting unfortunate vibes. Vladimir. Vladimir Tarzinski. Oh, he's written books. Of course he has. He's got to sell those goddamn books. Oh, wow, he talks about Nazis a lot. I'm shocked. Wow. Yeah, I'm getting crypto-Nazi vibes from this dude. That's unfortunate. Why is it always that? Why is it always that? Oh, he did whole-ass VHS tapes. Look at. This is the cover to one of his VHS tapes. Nazi UFOs and Illuminati conspiracy. Warning, this video contains weird science. Some of the stories related may be fact, speculation, or just tall tales. Underground Video will not be responsible for any headaches, moments of brilliance, uncontrollable laughter, shock, disgust, emotional glitches, or loss of sanity, temporary or permanent, this video may cause. Oh, fuck this guy, man.
Incredibly enough, in an official American Navy documentary film, we found footage of what Admiral Byrd found on the South Pole. He found...
Wait, this is his book? Close Encounters of the Foo Fighter Kind. Did World War II Germany invent and build the first operational fighter saucers on Earth? No, by the way.
Giant freshwater, never freezing lakes with areas around them that were free of any snow. And in that film, we show footage of the Navy planes landing in these lakes. But even more so, he found, to his amazement, that his planes were disappearing very quickly. A lot of his planes were attacked by anti-gravity devices that were operated by the Germans there, by anti-gravity saucers. A lot of them crashed into invisible barriers and disintegrated in mid-flight. This is an indication that the Germans had already perfected the force field shields, and they were up and operational around the German colony at Neuschwabenland. When he was retreating, basically the whole operation lasted for 1 week. They started at the end of February 47, and by the first week of March, they were through with the whole operation, and much earlier than scheduled, and they departed. And in an interview at Buenos Aires on his way back, Admiral Byrd made the incredible statement that the Third World War would probably be with an adversary coming from the polar regions of our planet, an adversary that has the ability to fly unobstructed from pole to pole. He was referring to the Germans at their south...
No, he wasn't! Oh my god, this is one of the reasons that we did the Antarctic Treaty, was because any country that starts setting up, like, nuclear armaments or building up military forces in the poles is going to have certain advantages because they're equidistant to many enemies all around the world. That's one of the reasons we decided no one should be building stuff there because it's going to be a shit show and we'll get into fights over it. So no, not Nazis, just normal human trying to murder each other stuff. You know how people be.
The polar colony at Neuschwabenland that were operating their anti-gravity craft with impunity and could fly circles around the globe and of course would shoot out of the sky any of the attacking American planes.
The inner terrestrials surrounded the entrance gates with an electromagnetic protective dome, which no being or weapon can penetrate. After all this happened, it became the greatest secret of mankind. It started ufology as we know it today. Indeed,
Excuse you, sir, are you familiar with the Colonel's secret recipe?
there is a second humanity, an inner terrestrial race who had already
If they're Nazis, they're not humanity.
built cities in the inner earth before the sinking of Atlantis. These extra and inner terrestrial races built time gates and anchored these cities on a higher subatomic frequency.
What does that mean?
After the Great Purification, these time gates will fall.
Oh, yikes. What's the Great Purification? I'm gonna be real. You're talking too much about Nazis to call anything the Great Purification. That's all the flags. They're all red. Red flag, red flag.
Different
Weirdly, these red flags all have swastikas on them.
places, there will be once again access to the underground cities.
In 1961, the Brazilian Navy was conducting a series of experiments in the Antarctic. According to one of my colleagues who was in one of the naval ships, suddenly out of the ice packs, a large spacecraft emerges and takes off vertically at a terrific speed, shocking both the American and the Brazilian naval forces that were there. So it is clear that as late as 1961, we have official documentation from the Brazilian Navy that there is some other, emphasize other, underline this 3 or 4 times, life force or intelligence stationed at the South Pole, possibly to observe the scientific developments on the planet, possibly to observe the military operations and the forces of the East and the West in some type of Mexican standoff as the Cold War develops. We have clear documentation from other sources and other South American governments that some technology that is not human-based is there. That is to say, some type of higher evolutionary experience is there, and this is the next chapter of our quest. Why are they here? What do they want from us? And do they, namely,
Can I just point out that there's something really perverse about someone believing that aliens have visited Earth and their preferred point of contact was the Nazis? That just speaks to some sick shit, man.
the higher or alien intelligence were some type of directing mechanism both for the U.S. as well as for the Soviets as to who goes into space and who conducts, as it were, the next evolutionary round of space development. These are key questions that we must resolve.
Also, gigantic cities of lights will descend out of their orbit to selected areas and will be anchored on the Earth.
What?
Right now, people who have reached a certain level of consciousness and are once again connected to the cosmic monad are drawn through their intuition to places chosen by the spiritual hierarchies in order to anchor the cities of light.
Sorry, I gotta take this off for a second. I want to see if any of the people in these images are non-white.
People who have reached a certain level of consciousness and are once again connected to the cosmic monad are drawn through their intuition to places chosen by the spiritual hierarchies in
all white people. What a coincidence. Depraved ambiance, what do you want with the hats off?
order to anchor the cities of light
Locking in bunny ears, fine. Fine.
above these areas.
I'll take it. Thank
These
you.
sites are absolutely secure. The Space Brothers and the spiritual hierarchies have created the so-called Islands of Light, where the Earth's frequency was increased, so that all human beings
By frequency, you mean...
and light workers can find each other on that level. Such areas are recognized by the fact that they attract an especially high number of people dealing with higher knowledge. These places have a higher grid anchorage. They are places of power, activated chakras, entrances to inner Earth, and a present.
Were they drawn there by the energy, or did they hear about it in a video like this made by other crackpots? Guessing that one.
UFO surveillance. The Space Brothers are going to pay special attention to these areas when the cataclysms begin, because that is where the seed for the new mankind
Any day now.
will be found.
White people again.
That is where the first contacts will occur on a physical and telepathic level. Many small and large centers, shelters of peace, will be established by spiritual people who live together, who work on themselves and teach others. To the new mankind, these sites will be study centers and the new initiation centers for the universal brotherhood.
White, white. White, 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 white.
These islands of light are recognized by the fact
Maybe there's some Asian people?
that they do not belong
There's some
to a
Asian
certain
people.
denomination or sect,
Very white is what I'm getting from the vibe here.
but that they are open to every reality, and that they know that many roads lead home. The highest goal is to increasingly live our lives and love ourselves. This time there will be no arch, because man himself is the arch.
Again, as we raise the consciousness and we transform our body from a state of corporeality, which means this type of substance, you see, and as our atoms and as our molecules and as our energies speed up, the DNA system is totally transformed.
Okay, this guy doesn't know anything about anything. Cool.
Into a higher octave and a higher frequency, so that there is a whole
Higher octave and frequency.
new strain coming in as a result of this. When we're passing through, for instance, the photon belt, there will be no darkness. It's all light. Everything in the body, then, of importance will be etheric in nature as opposed to corporeal or dense
Corporeal?
or density or whatever, you see. Realities that we accept today will be no more.
Why is it so hard for people to just be like, yep, this is it? Like, we can have interpersonal social experiences and social constructs, and those things are kind of the closest you'll get to anything esoteric in the real world. But other than that, this is it. We exist. We're physical. Why is that not enough? Why is this not enough? What's wrong with you?
And so as a result of that, the DNA system and everything which constructs humanness will be changed, because we will now reach for a light body and will be of the light as opposed to darkness and corporeality. So any change that's signified today scientifically or biologically and what have you in the DNA is because of this infusion of new consciousness and new light, which of course is coming in at this point in time. Many of us are, many people already are largely light, although they keep the body of corporeality to do what they have to do here on Earth, you see.
Oh, that's convenient. So they're definitely made of light, except for the fact that they're meat. Cool.
Many people are already in the fourth dimension. Some are aware and some are not. But that's where we all have to go. And
Pretty pretty sad that this language has barely evolved over the last 30 years, am I right? You still hear the conspiracy theorists talking about increasing their vibrations and being in higher dimensions. Same stuff. Different decade.
And, of course, by 2011, as we pointed out, all of us have the option and the privilege, if we choose to do so, of being in the fifth dimension.
By 2011, you know, that was the year before I graduated. I don't remember getting the memo that says, by the way, would you like to go to the fifth dimension? I missed that. It's a little bit like selective service. How about you guys? You get that memo around 2011? I don't recall.
The photon belt is an intense field of photon radiation, light radiation, which both according to several modern...
To be clear, I did have to sign up for the draft, and I did do it, which is funny, because now I'm not allowed in the military. I wouldn't want to join anyway, but it is funny that I'm disallowed.
Astronomers, astrologers, as well as the Mayan tradition, emanates from the center of our galaxy, bisects the Pleiades star system and our star system at the same time.
All right, this is the last part.
The current
of this documentary
period, we are moving in and out of this photon belt, spending several months in it every year. That the frequency that we spend in the photon belt is increasing by approximately 2 weeks every year. And according to the calculations of the Mayan calendar, around the year 2011, 2012 AD, we will be fully within the photon belt, and we will remain within the photon belt until around 4000 AD.
Oh, cool. Cool beans.
The current calculations. And some of the work of both Jose Arguelles, other researchers, seems to suggest that the Mayans knew about this cycle, that every so often, many thousand years, we go in and out of the photon belt.
Oh, by the way, I didn't bring this up, but I'm probably not going to be able to stream until Thursday this upcoming week. I have 2 appointments tomorrow, including a doctor's appointment and my electrolysis. Tuesday, I work 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Wednesday, I work 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I'm probably not going to be able to stream until Thursday. So the next stream, other than the patron one we're doing after this, is probably going to be a Tinfoil Thursday, so I do apologize for that. Welcome, Raiders! Tina, thank you for the raid. I hope your stream went well. If you haven't already, make sure you give Tina a follow here on Twitch. We're taking a look at bullshit conspiracy documentaries today. We're just finishing up one right now about the Hollow Earth theory. Very weird, dumb bullshit. So hang out with us. If you want, give a follow. We look at weird conspiracy theorists and the stuff they believe all the time.
That there seem to have been cultural as well as different climactic and earth changes.
Hope my doctor's appointment goes well. Thank you. I'm finally going to get my meds, which is good.
Perhaps we're sort of stimulated.
Because I've been without them and emotionally unstable.
Or
is that the Stephen Christ one? Stephen Christ does believe the Hollow Earth stuff. Yes. He's not in this documentary, unfortunately.
Affected by the entering and going out of that photon belt in the past history of the Earth.
We are changing both DNA and RNA in many of us. Many stones, many vehicles here are sending...
Stephen Christ tried to fuck you when you were 19? See, that's weird. When I was like 20, he cursed me. He didn't try to fuck me at all, although I looked much more like a man back then, so I guess I get that. No, he cursed me to have bad dreams for all eternity. I didn't, so I guess his curse didn't work. What a shame.
Are changing our chakra systems also. There are no longer 7 chakras in most of us. We are opening up new chakra systems. You'll see much more about this in the next 5 or 10 years.
He was in your DMs? Did he act like he was Jesus or Satan? Because he flip-flops. Stephen Christ is a conspiracy theorist and unfortunately someone who probably has some pretty severe mental health issues. He is into Hollow Earth theory. He believes he is the reincarnation of Jesus and Satan. And they're different aspects of his personality. I have not checked in on him in years, and I imagine he's probably not doing great.
years also.
We can look now if you want. I'm not going to be exploitative about it, because like I said, I'm pretty sure he's pretty severely mentally ill, but I don't know if he's still around. Lord Stephen Christ. Yep, there you go. Lord Stephen Christ's Venus Concave Earth. Oh yeah, he posted something 10 days ago. Let's see how he's doing.
In the beginning, the Lord created the heavens and the earth, and
Bad. He's doing bad.
God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low. And the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day, and the idols he shall utterly abolish. And they shall go into the holes of the rocks, and into the caves of the earth.
At the very least, he can operate an editing suite, so that's good. I'm glad his brain's still functioning well enough that he can, like, edit videos. That speaks well to his functionality, at least.
For the fear of the Lord, and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. I am your father.
Oh!
I am the one. Lord Stephen Christ. It is time for my return.
Oh,
the high shall be brought low. I am your God. You shall know that your earth is concave. Inside is where you stay. My kingdom, I shall reign, and you will bow to me.
Oh, it goes on for one. Let there be light. Oh. And there was light. Then it turns into a music video, I guess.
And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low. And the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day, and the idols he shall utterly abolish. And they shall go into the holes of the rocks, and into the caves of the earth, for the fear of the Lord, and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. I am the Father, I am the one. Lord Stephen Christ, it is time for my return. The high shall be brought low. I am your God, you shall know that your earth is concave. Inside is where you stay. My kingdom I shall reign, and you will bow to me or die eternally. This world I made for you, do not be deceived, for I alone am Lord, for those with eyes to see. Into the shadow, the whispers of truth will arise. The hearts of the faithful will open their eyes. From the ashes of doubt, a new dawn will break. With the promise of hope, every soul shall wake. The mountains will tremble, the seas will roar, as the heavens declare what they've waited for. In the silence of night, hear the angels sing, of the glory and power that his love will bring. The high shall be brought low. I am your God, you shall know that your earth is concave. Inside is where you stay. My kingdom I shall reign, and you will bow to me, or die eternally, or die eternally. This world I made for you, do not be deceived, for I alone am Lord, for those with eyes to see.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing good. That's a shame. Whew. That's the wrong color tone. Come on. Whiter. There we go. We need cool light. Cool light. Anyway, so Stephen Christ isn't doing good, apparently. Are all his videos like this? Yeah. Oh,
Lord
just
is the
everything. Does he ever do videos where he just, like, talks?
Welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, to another
There you go. Okay.
episode of the Lord Stephen Christ's Divorce Court, where today's episode, we have a very happy couple here, who's actually, they want to be divorced. And that is Miss Sunshine here with the nice blonde hair. So I'm going to make her a nice happy face. And the happy black man, who is the celestial sphere, because it's black, right? And of course, this is an interracial couple, so they're going to be happy that they're divorced. And that
This is a lot to unpack.
there's no relation between the two of them. There's no relation. You see, within the heliocentric model, that's what they will want you to believe. They will want you to believe that there's no relationship between these two entities. Why? Because they believe that the Earth is spinning, and it's wobbling, and it's precessing over a cycle of...
Okay, I'm gonna move on, and leave him to his unfortunate mental illness. So, that's a shame.
You can activate
Let's finish this documentary.
many more of them, and also your DNA and your RNA will not be replicating in the same fashions. The children who are
Melanie
being born
Moo,
who
thanks
are
for following.
conscious when they are born. And this will change also a lot.
The Dark Ages. During the rule of a dark age of separation, all knowledge that is passed on and all instructions are tainted. Every religion, for instance, is a sect, a separation from the real divine inner truth of life. Religion is something that happens in
Nemesaur.
God's holiest temple.
Nemesaur, you missed the dance party.
Man himself in the depth of
Watch the VOD.
his heart and in communication with his divine inner self. Throughout the Dark Age, countless fallen sun cosmologies who have dogmatic religious views reached the Earth and became our religions. They represented the climax of separation from oneself. God's channels, prophets, and mediums received their messages from the God-created and separated dimensions. Most often, the pure messages were mixed with information from the astral worlds and their own ego. There are as many truths and religions as there are worlds and heavens of polarities and...
I'm very uncomfortable with the fact that they chose to show KKK members where they're like, there are many different truths.
There are as many truths and religions as there are worlds and heavens
I'm hearing the dog whistle. It's very loud.
of polarities and levels of development in
See ya, aw, screw it.
the cosmos in their different dimensions.
Oh, and have fun at AEW. Woo!
Every social structure which serves the power of the lobbies and the ego instead of mankind is a split, which in the end will restructure itself or crumble. All knowledge without love is a separation from being. Whilst the old program of the Dark Age runs out with the old Lightworkers, the Illuminati, and their plans of a world dictatorship controlling the world of finance, it will disintegrate with the changes on Earth.
Yeah, this is just anti-Semitic dog whistling. I'm pretty sure this is a Nazi conspiracy video that's just doing everything but saying the thing. Jesus Christ.
New incarnated Lightworkers of the Galactic Confederation are already leading mankind into the new Golden Age. After the great transformation of mankind, the Space Brothers would like to welcome us as cosmic citizens into the Galactic Confederation of Free Planet.
Where do the Illuminati receive their knowledge? Well, I would use the famous jokes and stories about Tesla and Edison. According to Edison, invention was 95% perspiration and 5% inspiration. According to Tesla, the way Tesla was doing his inventions, he would have 95% inspiration and probably 5% perspiration. Tesla would get the vision. All he has to do is put the vision into paper. Then he has to take the paper to the engineers to put it into metal in the shop.
To be clear, demonstrably, one of these two inventors was more successful in life and had more of their air quote, inventions become a part of daily life. I'll give Tesla this on alternating current. Brilliant. Wireless electricity. Non-starter. Non-starter. Edison's a big piece of shit. He was basically the Elon Musk of his era, so fuck him, but, you know.
Tuning here and there and the device works. This is the usual mode through which information and know-how is channeled from the extraterrestrial and even higher levels of existence to our planet. The know-how is given and we are left to put it into our crude terrestrial engineering and manufacturing methods. That's why the crude anti-gravity saucers of the 1880s, 1890s were made with rivets. Giant cannons were used to fire the first anti-gravity devices toward the moon. Later on, in the early 1900s, more advanced technologies were used, but always the...
Tesla's wireless electricity did lead to wireless charging, though. Hot take, I hate wireless charging. I hate it. I hate that it's become a thing. I'm not a fan. I don't like contact charging. It sucks. It takes forever.
Technology would follow up.
It's not that hard to... Maybe I'm a boomer at this point, but you just plug it in. You take a fucking cord and you plug it in, and then it'll be charged in like an hour, and then it's done.
With our terrestrial one. Why are there two totally different scientific and engineering realities on the planet? Why the mass consumption engineering culture is 50 to 100 years behind the secret culture developed by the Illuminati? I have always had this very big question, very big puzzle in front of me. This is the Promethean dilemma for me. How come that with these incredibly good intentions to elevate the scientific and technological level of our civilization, we end up with the very negative and dismal results of all of these efforts? My feeling is that basically that is the major mode through which the, should I call it the independent angelic presence on the planet, is trying to corrupt the scientific and the political minds of the elite of our planet with visions of grandeur, with technologies that are too far ahead possibly for our spiritual and moral development, and that are very dangerous, that can explode any minute and basically bring the end of our civilization, as has happened for dozens of times on our same planet. Again, information coming to us from many extraterrestrial revelations about previous illuminated efforts to speed up the evolution on the planet that ended up in very brutal, violent nuclear wars. The Illuminati have an agenda that would probably not be accepted in a normal, open voting system by the majority of the population on the planet. The creation of a new master race with hybridization experiments done
You're
with
the one who's been going to bat for the Nazis! What are you talking about?
animals. The first hybrids were done in German concentration camps 50 years.
Wait, no, first of all, no. Second of all, you think that Nazis are interested in hybridization with animals? What in the fuck?
Years ago, and there are people that have seen documentary films about living, walking, breeding hybrids between humans and animals.
No.
Creation of a new master race under illuminated guidance, and probably away from a package of genetic material that was introduced on the planet through an intervention by the Trinity.
The dark as well as the light power
The Trinity put in genetic information?
serves only one
Like the The Trinity from Christianity?
Master, who is the creator of all that is, and whose goal is to create the superhuman. The final goal of human reincarnation is to create a human being who has experienced all imaginable positive and negative experiences,
Those are
and therefore
boobs.
is able to
They're
develop
painted, but they're
beyond
boobs.
any judgment into
More
the
costumes
humanly
arrived,
incarnated
hell
image
yeah.
of God. A human being who has become God has lived through the completed range of the cosmic keyboard from the lowest to the highest note.
Let me check and see what arrived on my account.
God does not judge. He shines on his creations like a sun, on the flowers or the weeds, or on his being. The experiment of duality has come to an end, and the planet Earth is an ascending planet, onto which the Creator himself incarnates in the shape of human beings. The return of the Ascended Brotherhood from Lemuria and Atlantis is the return of the 144,000 Masters of Light, the cosmic monads. They are incarnated as human beings, united.
I'm gonna be... Oh, wait, this will be done in
And
a second.
together they will represent the White Pyramid, God's eye, who sees everything, the presence of the Almighty on Earth.
That's great imagery.
They are the open witnesses
I love that.
who have all described from a different perspective the
I almost want to rip that and use it as like a starting screen, like starting soon, and it's just that on a loop.
process of ascension, since they have already lived through it before.
Jesus. All right, that's the end of that documentary. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab those costumes that just arrived, and then we'll watch some more conspiracy. Oh, more costumes. Cool beans. What else do we have in terms of conspiracy stuff? Let's try this. This is about shadow people. Under 10 pounds. Oh wait, can we watch this? This is actually Gravitas uploaded this. Are they gonna get upset if I play this? I guess we'll give it a shot and see what happens. You're not allowed to see? No, I'm keeping them a surprise. People vote on them based on emojis, and then they'll see what the costumes are when they get picked. Okay, we get it. Ominous.
A growing number of people are reporting sightings of strange, shadowy figures around the globe. It begins with...
I want to point out that seeing, like, so for something where you experience hallucinations, something like schizophrenia, audible hallucinations are much more common than visual hallucinations. But when people with schizophrenia do have visual hallucinations, often they will take the form of shadow people. So keep that in mind during this documentary. A common visual hallucination is shadow people. Basically, people who are kind of there, but not there. They look like shadows, but they're there, but they're not. Keep that in mind. That is a symptom of certain, schizophrenic stuff.
With a glance out of the corner of an eye, a chance sight of something moving. Then, when least expected, the figure appears in front of the witness. Menacing dark apparitions, so black your eyes seem to slide off it. They move and undulate while watching you. Eyewitnesses say they awaken to shadow people stalking them, watching them, or darting out of sight when encountered. Reports are from sane and reasonable people from all walks of life. Is this some new psychological phenomenon, or intruders from some other nefarious dominion?
Neither. It's not a new psychological phenomena. It's actually a very old one.
A number of religions, legends, and belief systems describe shadowy spiritual beings or supernatural entities such.
Yes, people developed those theologies and those beliefs, and people have mental illness. So, unfortunately, sometimes throughout history, people's mental illnesses or issues that they have been interpreted by others, in particular theologians, as supernatural. So that's how you wind up with, witch hunts and all sorts of stuff where people are taking real physical phenomena that happens in people's brains and turns it into something demonic or supernatural or evil, and it's just not.
Just shades of the underworld. Various shadowy creatures have long been a staple of folklore and ghost stories. Description.
Oh, well, that does it. If people talk about it, it has to be true.
Of shadow people.
Does that mean Mothman is real? Rad.
Are as dark silhouettes with human shapes and profiles that flicker in and out of peripheral vision, and claims that people have reported the figures attempting to jump on their chest.
Are they always a mime? Am I crazy, or is this a mime?
And claims that people have reported.
No, he's got a beret. That's a mime.
The figures attempting to jump on their chest and choke them. Witnesses.
Oh, that's sleep paralysis.
Report the figures to be negative or alien beings that can be repelled by various means. Believers and paranormal authors do not agree whether shadow people are evil, helpful, or neutral, and some even speculate that shadow people may be the extra-dimensional inhabitants of another universe. Several psychological conditions can account for reported experiences of shadowy shapes seeming alive.
Okay, at least they're saying that, I guess? I think you just should have not made the whole video if you were gonna tip your hand to this one.
A sleep paralysis sufferer may perceive a shadowy or indistinct shape approaching them when they lay awake, paralyzed, and become increasingly alarmed. A person experiencing heightened emotions, such as while walking alone on a dark night, may incorrectly perceive a patch of shadows as an attacker. Many methamphetamine addicts report the appearance of shadow people after prolonged periods of sleep deprivation. Shadow animals are often reported as well. However, one interviewed subject said that you don't see shadow dogs or shadow birds or shadow cars. You see shadow people. Standing in doorways, walking behind you, coming at you on the sidewalk. These hallucinations have been directly compared to the paranormal entities described.
Weird that they didn't bring up the schizophrenia thing. They brought up, like, multiple other things, but not schizophrenia. this is going to sound cynical. I almost am afraid that their primary audience is people suffering from hallucinations, but they don't want to turn them off because they've probably been told by other people, hey, you should get that, you should maybe seek help. That might be schizophrenia. But sometimes people who have schizophrenia, I'm not trying to paint a broad brush here, I'm just saying delusions and hallucinations are self-protecting. So if you're someone who's experiencing hallucinations and delusions, often you will hear people telling you you need help or that you're just seeing things or you might be schizophrenic, and you might react hostily to that because that's a scary thought, or because, you know, something about the things you believe is perhaps making you a little paranoid about it. The point I'm trying to make is it's almost like they are building this specifically so that if you have schizophrenia and don't know it and see shadow people, this is the documentary for you, and they're very explicitly not going to bring up schizophrenia because they don't want to upset you if you're someone who doesn't want to consider that they have that. Yikes.
In folklore. Indeed, shadow people have been reported throughout recorded history.
Yeah, throughout recorded history, people have had brains that are, you know, the same as the ones you and I have. It's not been enough time to evolve differently. It's the same template.
Harley Swift Deer Reagan, known as Thunderstrikes in his tribe, stated that shadow people are parallel dimensional beings who were first recorded by indigenous people in 1153 BC. Thunder says there was an awakening between 1980 through 2000, and beginning in 2001, there began the quickening, in which events and time seems
That's the worst Highlander movie. Get out of my face.
to be speeding up. As this is occurring, shadow people are becoming visible as frequencies raise. Thunder stated the shadow people,
There's that frequency bullshit again.
who he calls inorganic beings,
Here we are, born to be kings. We are the princes of the universe.
live
They're remaking Highlander, and there's no way it's going to be a tenth as good without the Queen soundtrack. It's so good.
in a parallel dimension and
Have fun, Carpcosian.
feed off of our emotional discharge of energy.
Genuinely, Flash Gordon and Highlander would make a fucking awesome double feature because they both have Queen soundtracks. Oh, shit. That scene from Highlander with Who Wants to Live Forever makes me cry. And I don't mean that hyperbolically. I mean tears come down my face.
along with chaos. In essence, shadow people are energy
Wait, why is it a vampire? It's a Halloween costume vampire shadow guy?
vampires. Cherokee legend speaks of the raven mocker, which shifts from a menacing bird into a grotesque human-like shadow. It was believed the raven mocker's mission was to capture the souls of those who were facing death. Many report seeing shadow people wearing a cloak or a shroud. Some may appear to be dressed in robe-like apparel.
Cody from Some More News did a video last week about toxic nostalgia. It was a really good video about why we think new remakes are trash. I agree in general, but I do want to point out the thing with Highlander is not nostalgic for me. I watched Highlander for the first time right after my orchiectomy, like 3 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago. It's been a month. I watched Highlander for the first time last month. So not nostalgia for me.
Although
Just
they
a current opinion.
have been reported in many shapes and sizes, many people describe them as small, human-like figures
Yes, really.
with red eyes. Heidi Hollis, a controversial researcher of this phenomenon, says
Very legitimate based on this Hot Topic-esque photo you put up.
she was of the belief that they are evil in nature and that they had been around since the Earth's
Green guy with a tip says, Hannah, I have pooped like 12 times, still not as shitty as some people's political opinions. Oh yeah, you're getting a colonoscopy, so they gave you the nasty stuff to drink that, like, rips all of everything out of your body viciously. fun.
Conception, and that they possibly had an extraterrestrial connection. Islam speaks of the jinn, who were created along with humans as creatures of free will. They, along with humans and angels, are part of the creations of Allah, capable of logic and reason. According to his belief, the jinn live in a world alongside ours, and like us, are capable of either being positive or negative. It is thought that some of the legends of shadow people come from the possibility of humans seeing the shadows of the jinn while they exist in their parallel world.
The only based genie is Kazam. And maybe Norm the genie.
There are religious groups that view shadow entities as demonic in nature. The shadows themselves are not thought to be demons, but rather watchers for potential souls to be claimed.
And Robin Williams. Robin Williams' genie is barely a genie. It's just Robin Williams in genie face.
This way
I do like Wishmaster. That's true. I do like Wishmaster.
thinking assumes that when one is seen, a demon is present. Cleansing and blessing
I at least like the Wishmaster movies that have the original guy. Once they switch actors for the genie, it's not as good.
must be done to avert any negativity that is trying to permeate the person or the home where the shadow is seen. This is generally done with a blessing of the area in the name of whatever higher power a person believes in. As in anything, it is the power of belief that determines how well something like this would work. According to a poll, approximately 80% have seen a shadow creature, and 30%
Who conducted that poll? 80% of people in the world, as in 4 out of 5, have seen a shadow person. Oh, Lord.
believe that shadow creatures are evil.
Did they do that poll at a crackpot convention? How did they conduct that?
One of the things that is fascinating about shadow people is the similarity of the descriptions from all over. The most common descriptions of a shadow being is that of a tall man wearing a wide-brimmed hat. Details.
The Hat Man? Are we talking about the Hat Man? Just stop taking so much Benadryl recreationally. Jesus Christ. You just like the feeling of bugs under your skin? Jesus Christ.
Vary as to whether he has no facial
Don't take Benadryl recreationally.
features at all, or glowing eyes of red or yellow. Some speak of only seeing this creature once in their life. Others have reported seeing several sightings concentrated in one area. The similarity lies in the stature of the creature and the hat it appears to be wearing. There's also the general consensus that it is malevolent in nature.
That's a little judgy. I'm not gonna see the Hat Man and assume he's a dick.
One thing is certain, this Hat Man is believed to have been seen in places all over the world. In the United States, there seems to be an emphasis of sightings on the Northeast. However, it is certainly not indigenous only to those areas.
Indigenous?
One of the things that sets the Hat Man accounts apart from some of the other shadow entities is the interest this creature seems to show in those who have seen it. While many shadows are seen out of the corner of the eye, only to disappear once one focuses on them, the
Is
Hat
this documentary recent? It doesn't tell me the year, but it definitely doesn't seem that old. Seems like it's within the last decade, 2 tops. It's from the 2010s at the earliest.
Man seems to want to be seen. This seeming intelligence of the entity is possibly what gives it the negative perception that it has. Everything about shadow entities is theory at this point, and there are
At this point, we're about to crack the case.
many scientific facts that cannot be ignored. To truly understand something, all sides need to be examined. Science shows how something can have a natural explanation, which is essential to look at. Only after ruling out what can naturally cause something can we look at other possibilities.
All right. I think we got to cut the shadow video a little short.
All right.
Because I do have to do the patron and YouTube member only show. But before we go, let's do one more tinfoil. Let's do CC. And then we'll call it a day and move on to the patron show. So, for the patron and YouTube member only show, we are going to be watching a pretty silly movie together. It's going to be a bad movie. So, make sure you're there. It'll be fun. All right.
All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris from New York,
Westchester County.
It's 9/7/2025. How are you? Good?
Oh, nice, Amber. Hell yeah.
Everything's good? Excellent.
Have I watched the light language people yet? I have not. Are those the people that speak... Wait, maybe I have vaguely. Are those the people that basically speak in tongues or gibberish, but they're like, no, it's light language?
Me are two frames. On my left-hand side is the moon that I captured about a week ago or a week and a half ago. And on the left-hand side...
You captured the moon? Oh no, CC's become a supervillain. What are his demands?
Is the sun. You know, the sun and the moon are the same size.
They're the same angular size. They are very far from being the same size. The sun is much bigger. It just happens to be further away.
Really, guys? So, after all these billions of years, supposedly, it just managed to become the same size.
Not become the same size, they appear to be the same size. It is actually an incredible coincidence. So if I hold this closer to the camera, oh my god, it's bigger than my head! Look at how much bigger than my head! It's like this thing is the same size as my head! But when you actually put them next to each other, of course it's not the same size as my head, it's much smaller. This is the moon, my head is the sun. Get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? Okay, perspective, subjectivity, it's a bitch. Subjectivity is a bitch.
Yeah. Of each other. With one being 93 million miles away and the other one being 268,000 miles away. We're talking 93 million miles away.
And the moon is receding from us, so eventually they will not be the same angular size. Yep.
And 268,000. Okay, so we're comparing thousands to millions. But they are the same size.
They are the same angular size. Other people have commented this, right? Probably. Everyone's just mean to Chris in the comments, and it makes me feel bad. Ugh.
It's bullshit.
Will Kale with 135 stream streak says, CC, what is forced perspective? Oh my god, if he watched Lord of the Rings, it would blow his mind. He'd be like, how did they get Elijah Wood? That's tiny.
It's nonsense. God created all of this. And I'm sorry. Okay, forget about me believing... well, you know what? Forget about me talking about the whole program that you're in right now. And the life you're going to lead. And you really, whatever choice you make right now is already been determined. But I won't get into that. That'll be...
Wait, he's into determinism now? Oh, Jesus.
Already been determined.
The Calvinists have entered the chat.
But I won't get into that. That'll be in another video. Whatever is passing right now by the moon, which I'll tell you.
P-Meal with the $5 tip says, how did you grow that measuring tape? Streamer powers.
I had no...
When you become a Twitch partner, you get superpowers, but they're really lame ones.
No idea. I was reviewing the video, actually, and then I thought it was a bug, that was going across, the lens. And then I noticed that it's actually a freaking craft of some sort. And the problem is here in Westchester County, and any aviation license requires you to have your lights on a moving object, lower and upper beneath the wings. But I don't see any lights on, blinking red or blue or white or anything like that, and every aircraft requires that. So I don't know what the fuck it is. It could have been like a maybe something from a previous civilization or something. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. You got to be careful with the women with the black glasses. Okay. And the clear lens. Those are the ones to be careful about.
What? 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 Okay.
I'll tell you why. Those are, oh, fuck. Just remember that. Black frame glasses on a woman. Bye-bye. Stay.
I'm going to keep these on forever. Apparently they're CC repellent.
Away. Okay. Oh, I got so much to talk about. I can't, this could go on for 2 hours. All right, now on my right-hand side, that was a sun capture, okay? And it was just so beautiful. I didn't know where the sun was. I mean, it was so bright in the morning, and the sun did not come, first off, it's not rising, it's not, whatever. It's coming closer to you. That's what the sun does. And when it goes away, it goes away.
No, the Earth is turning on its axis, so the face of the Earth that is, like, towards the sun changes in a predictable way. That's what days are.
That's what the sun does. And I was wondering where the hell the sun was. It was like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was bright as shit outside, and there it was. And I pulled it, and I mean, I put the camera right on there, and I just saw this, which I was happy to share it with you. And I have no idea. Maybe it might have been there were no chemtrails, though. That's the problem. Why did it split it in half? I mean, that's what my camera got. And it's so perfect. A perfect circle. I could tell you about so many movies that I've told you about a perfect circle.
What?
That's not natural. It's not nature. That's
what are you talking about?
Higher intelligence. Perfect circle means higher intelligence.
No! Also, the moon has craters all over it. So, like, what do you mean perfect circle? Like, it's not perfect in the literal sense. It does have stuff all over it. What are you talking about?
That's what it is. I'm sorry. Okay. There is somebody that created all of this. And it's fucking incredible. But in a plausible possibility of beyond flat earthers, incredible too, because it just screams fucking digital all around.
Magos Informaticus says, I'm starting to think CC might be into flight of ideas as a symptom. This is a bad sign for him. Can you explain that, what that is, and like why it's a bad sign?
Around us, I mean, the relationships you have with people, your life, just connect everything from when you grew up, who you met, and the influences people have had in your life, and the courses you went. Well, I mean, it's not even courses. It's just, the highways you traveled and decided to go. It's just amazing. It really is. So I don't know what to make of both of these videos. I'm assuming, you know what, look, we've been lied to all of our lives with all of civilizations that have previously existed before us, and we're just another civilization that's here, and we're, as far as I'm concerned, at this point, really not advanced at all. The only thing that's advanced is that camera or that phone you're looking at right now. That's your advancement. Other than that, it's all bullshit. Our structures are the same shit we've had for 100 years. You're telling me they built a fucking aqueduct?
I'm sorry, you think that a skyscraper built today is equivalent to a building built in the 1920s? They're not. They're bigger, they're more structurally sound, they're more capable of withstanding things like earthquakes and other natural disasters. What are you talking about? No, that's an insane statement to make. Even at an aesthetic surface level, that's an insane statement to make.
All the way up to Shokan Reservoir, which is 200 miles away from here, with a fucking candle and sticks.
Yeah, they worked in the daytime, dipshit. No, they weren't actually using candles. They worked when the sun came up to when it went down.
A tunnel all the way up. This is all founded. That's what they say. Actually, they took that name out now. They don't call it founded anymore. They call it, well, I don't know what the fuck they call it now, but I mean, you'll see the signs. They don't consider it founded, because we all know that when they say that, it's been found.
That's not what that word means.
In 1886, in 1876, whatever the hell it is. But I mean, think about it. I mean, they think I'm a fucking dinosaur, and I was born in the 70s. All right? So you're telling me all of this was fucking built?
The 70s was 50 years ago. That is quite a while ago. That's half a century, man.
In the 1800s?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just rambling on right now, but I love it. You know, I'm just pissed off. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm just so happy to be here at this time. I mean, did I ask he or she or God to be here right now in this particular time of history and witness everything that's going on? I mean, it's just amazing. I really don't have a clue, obviously. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoy my videos, and I thank you for subbing, I thank you for viewing my videos, and let me be a part of your life. It's because of the...
You refuse to believe the 70s were 50 years ago? Well, time comes for us all.
Clouds.
My parents are born in the late 60s. And they suck ass. There needs to be a Hannah can't stop herself from shit-talking her parents spot on the bingo card, by the way.
This is where my son does this.
Oh, good audio. Alright, we'll cut it there. Okay. So, that is it for the regular stream today. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. I appreciate it. We are going to be doing the Patreon and YouTube member-only stream after this. So I'll see you for that. Cool beans. Like I said, I won't be able to stream probably tomorrow, Tuesday, or Wednesday. If I get out of work early, excellent. Then I will absolutely stream those days. But if not, then the next time you'll see me is on Tinfoil Thursday. And that's too long. It makes me sad. Alright. I did get those costumes, though, so we will be having a whole new batch of costumes. I have like 4 or 5. I forget exactly how many I ordered to add to the rotation. Oh, and the cat-made costume is retired. It's done. It's been lifted to the rafters. The cat-made outfit, I'm too old for it, man. It's not even funny anymore. It just makes me feel embarrassing and way too old, and it makes me feel like a creep. So the cat-made outfit is retired. Sorry about that. Alright, let's see who we're gonna raid on Twitch. When can we get another judge wig? Eventually. I will get one that works better, because I know I do need one. Alright. Have a good night, everyone! I'll see you soon if you're on the Patreon or a YouTube member. Otherwise, I'll see you a little bit in the next week, alright? Behave without me. See you later.